So I'm going to be straight up honest with y'all. This episode brought back something in me I thought I'd lost. Something that just through like growing up, something that was a big part of my childhood, that was taken away from me just through the bitter and cold harshness of reality, has returned to me, and I am thankful for that. And that is the Chupacabra! That's right, people. Something I've never talked about on this channel. But when I was a kid, I was actually huge into cryptids. Things like Bigfoot, the Loch Ness Monster, werewolves, Pauly Shore. Things that shouldn't exist, but you can't help but feel like they're real. They're out there somewhere, and if you go out and you will find the truth, then when you grow up, you either find the truth and you realize it's not really how that world works, or you don't, and you get a show on Animal Planet. Yeah, and even in a weird way, I know this is a little bit of a tangent, I think part of my real love and desire to get into Yu-Gi-Oh! Kind of came from my love of cryptids. Like, because those of you who don't know, I got into it through the show first. I was too young to just kind of get into the card game first. But for me, there was something just really cool about that idea of just like this world where the supernatural, the darker things, the things that can't be explained are always just so close and on the fringe of reality. And you always feel that if you make the right move or maybe just take the wrong turn, you'll end up in the middle of it. Just always was really attractive to me, and it kind of made me who I am today. So yeah, just being reminded of the Chupacabra, a cryptid that has long since been forgotten by most of mainstream culture, actually really put a nice smile on my face. Which is good, because this episode was, Alright, let's talk about the things I liked first. We won't do a recap, because this episode doesn't really have a lot in it, and that is a problem. First up, let's talk about the things I liked. I know I just did the tangent just now about the Chupacabra, but I actually really did like the whole section with the Chupacabra alien kid in this, surprisingly. Because what I liked was that it was different. It was weird. It was unique. It was the things you go to Yu-Gi-Oh! For. Something a little strange and a little out there. That was actually a lot of fun. Because when you see the alien attacking, and you kind of assume you know where this is going, that it's going to just be something weird or a weird thing it does, blah, 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 yada, yada. It turns out, no! The Chupacabra, or the descendant of the Chupacabra, one of the biggest cryptozoological creatures of the early to mid 2000s, a thing that if you were a kid who liked this kind of shit, you could not escape, is a sip for his waifu. That is fucking incredible. That whole bit, like the minute you see Yuamu in the cosplay, and the Chupacabra's me like, no, you're not really my waifu. It's just a cosplay. It's going, but you're fake. I'm gatekeeping, bitch. And he's all just like, haha, the only thing for us to do is to duel, because that's how this show works. And then like you just see him and he jumps into like this big human body and he pulls the mask off and you wonder, was he really an alien? What the hell's going on here? Then you find out, yes, the human head seems to be his real head and he's just got a weird little lizard body. That's good. I really enjoyed that. And then the whole bit when you just really learn what's going on here, it's like, no, he targeted the kid because he opened the card of his waifu. He targeted the girl because she was doing fan art of it. This is literally like a troll on Pixiv just like telling you to fuck off. That's all really fucking funny. I really like that. And then at the end there, the way they tie it into like the real world lore of the Chupacabra, that's kind of clever, actually. It kind of like goes to the world building of the show. We don't have a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! World building that kind of relates to real world supernatural beliefs and things like that. When was the last time we really did something? What? The frickin' Atlantis arc 20 fucking years ago? I know there's probably been one or two you can relate to real things. Or like the Nazca lines in 5Ds. There's a bit of it, but I feel like this kind of felt a little unique and different. This was relating it to more of a modern thing. And I just felt like it was a really kind of fun way to go about it. And I like learning that you can have aliens who just have like a gold ID card because they're third generation and all that. And that the Chupacabra was just a weird alien immigrant 100 some odd years ago, however far in the future we are. And all that was just kind of a weird accident and misunderstanding. That's fun. That's unique. That's different. There's the rest of the episode I have to talk about now. So, the actual, like, point of this episode is it's Yuamu's first duel. And naturally, in a Yu-Gi-Oh show, or just any shonen in general, when a character gets their first kind of, like, fight, it's important. It's a big deal. Even if a character's been around, this is supposed to be our true formal introduction to who this person is and what their power level is. And so from there, we look at what we already know about Yuamu, namely that she's smart, she's clever, she's a thinker, she's a schemer, and I'd say she's probably my favorite character thus far just because she is kind of like Girl Yuga. So naturally, you'd think her big first episode is going to continue to show off that intelligence or build upon what we've already seen. Like, we could really see how she handles processing information or coming up with plans or putting puzzle pieces together, like really show us how her mind works. But no, the crucial first few minutes of the episode that would be used for that is just kind of wasted on a dumb joke of Udius and Yui, I think is the other one's name. I'm still not getting it down pat yet. Dressing up in a barbecue outfit so they can lure it out. That kind of doesn't get the job done. And maybe we'll point out that, later in the duel you get all that anyways. Well, yeah, but it was just explained to us. We didn't get to go on the journey with her about how she came to the conclusions. It wasn't she gets the case and then we get to see how she puts the puzzle pieces together. It's she did all that off screen and then she just tells us how really smart she is and how clever she is. That's not very fun. That was the Yusaku problem of just like, he's just intelligent because he tells you he is, not because he really does anything you, the audience, can truly follow. Or like the biggest example I always go back to is Lelouch. Lelouch literally did all this for 50 episodes. He did everything off screen, a big fucking thing would happen, and then he'd just tell you about all that cool shit you didn't get to see while you were just sitting through the same crap over and over and over again. That's essentially what happened here. And I don't know if it's maybe like they're afraid that the audience won't follow it, but in Sevens, we weren't afraid to spend a lot of time on episodes, on characters thinking, on how they process information. That's what makes Yuga so much fun. And that's what in theory will make Yuamu a lot of fun going forward, but we just didn't get that. Instead, the time was wasted on a just not very funny joke that we've seen 100 times, which is not a thing you want coming off of the jokey Yugioh, and you still need to, like, separate yourself. That felt like a joke straight out of Sevens, and I love Sevens humor, but I want Go Rush to be its own humor. And then again, like, just everything interesting was just done off screen, and so it's just not very satisfying, especially when the duel is a little more interesting than the last two, but we waste so much time on an explanation for spell and traps that could have been done last week, or in the first episode where all you explained was normal summoning. Like, this is probably why most of the Yu-Gi-Ohs don't explain shit, because they want to just get to it. And this one seems to have this weird desire to forcefully meander. I don't know if this is their way of trying to feel more unique from Sevens, but this is what happened last week too. We got this huge big revelation about Udius and his past, and it was just like over in a flash and played up for nothing. And so yeah, that's just kind of my issue going forward. I don't want it to be that, because then the episode has a really weird final few minutes as we have like 3 different endings. Why? This just could have been paced and put together better. But yeah, that was my thoughts on this week's episode of Go Rush. Tell me what you thought about it. Below, maybe you thought all this was fine. Totally okay. Tell me why I'm an idiot for not liking Code Geass. I've heard many times before. But as for the TCG question of the week, so the other night, it happened. All of Ghost from the Past 2 has officially, well, not unofficially leaked. rather it's through pack openings or a couple other sources, we know that this is actually going to be a very fucking big, important set, both for the new Ghost Rares, as well as some big reprints coming along the way. So my question is, what are you most excited for? Are you most excited for the Ghost Rares themselves? I kind of wish there was a bit more of a variety, not so much DM milking, though that Ghost Rare Cyber Dragon does look fucking sick. Or are you more in it for the reprints or any of the cards coming here maybe you've been waiting for? I personally am mostly excited. The Tenny stuff, because I've actually been fucking around with Tenny Sorcerer a lot lately, and me likesy getting some rarity upgrades. And also, I am very excited for the Vision Hero reprints, because even though I've had my Ferris and increases for a long ass time, I know a lot of people who have been wanting this card but can't afford it because you can't justify the cost considering the deck's performance level, and I'm sick of always having to loan them to people. So yeah, everyone go fuck off. But yeah, tell me about your thoughts about that below. And as always, click to like, click to subscribe, and join me next week where I guess we meet the... No, it's another episode with the Chupacabra kid. Guys, is he a main character? This is gonna get weird.